Gee, I wonder what we should do for our Transcendentalism video project.
Hey, that gives me an idea. Why don't we take our inspiration from nature?
Just as we did, the Transcendentalists took their inspiration from nature. This was especially true of Ralph Waldo Emerson, one of the founders of the movement.
Hello, my name is Ralph Waldo Emerson. I too was once boxed in by the nightmare of industrial society. A life of black and white and gray. But one day, I realized the true nature of humanity. Standing on the bare ground, my head bathed by the blithe air and uplifted into infinite space, I became a transparent icon. I am nothing. I see all. The currents of the universal being circulate through me. I achieved an occult relation between man and vegetable. Trust in nature. Its attractions are the keys which unlock my thoughts. In yourself is the law of all nature.
In myself, eh?
Inspired by the idea of an individual relationship with nature, Thoreau left his home in 1845 for an experiment in solitary living near Walden Pond. From his small cottage, which he borrowed from Emerson, Thoreau examined nature closely, observing the lives of animals and the passage of the seasons. Thoreau took his success as an affirmation of individuality. If a man does not keep pace with his companions, perhaps it is because he hears a different drummer. Let him step to the music which he hears, however measured or far away. This also led Thoreau to question government authority.
Taxes for the Mexican-American War, $5,726.42. However, because I am a self-reliant individualist, I won't comply with government actions I don't support, like the war. I think I'll call this concept civil disobedience.
Thoreau's concept of nonviolent civil disobedience has inspired countless protesters, including Martin Luther King, Jr.
To help spread these transcendental ideals, I have created a new literary journal, The Dial, but I need somebody to edit it.
I, Margaret Fuller, will edit your Transcendentalist journal.
Cool.
And so, Margaret Fuller became the first editor of The Dial, which would outlive the Transcendentalists to later become an influential modernist journal in the 1920s. Like Thoreau and Emerson, Fuller had once worked as a teacher, and her own considerable education brought her many opportunities.
Well, we are going to discuss the enlightened philosophers, particularly Rousseau. Now, Rousseau was a product of the scientific revolution and enlightenment before him, and he believed in the age of reason, in that all human beings are rational.
However, her transcendental belief in the individual and the achievements made possible by her education led her to question the subordinate, uneducated role of woman in society.
And for him, it was more rational for the genders to have roles. So he believed that men and women, even though they might be equal, had different spheres of influence, and that men should be educated in the world, in politics and economics, should go into the world of work outside the home, and women, made more sense, should stay at home, raising their children and educating their children. Yes.
I disagree with that, because I am proof that women can do the exact same thing as men. I'm the editor of a transcendental journal called The Dial, and I'm in the work world, and I'm a woman.
Well, strike Rousseau dead.
I'm so glad Emerson gave me this position as editor of The Dial. Now I can use this position to advance my ideas about women's equality.
And indeed she did. Margaret Fuller used The Dial in 1843 to publish Woman in the 19th Century, an essay advocating equality for women.
The English dramatic poets have Shakespeareized now for 200 years. We need to create something unique, something original, something truly American.
Walt Whitman met Emerson's challenge to create something truly American with Leaves of Grass. To accomplish this goal, Whitman broke from traditional poetic structure. Sonnet, haiku, iambic pentameter. Nothing. No restrictions. I am free to express my individuality. I think I'll call it free verse. Whitman's poetry collection included works like Song of Myself, which celebrated the potential of the individual and the common man. You have the power to find a higher meaning through nature. And you. And you. And you. And you. And you.
Yes?
With his focus on everyday situations, Walt Whitman helped begin the transition from Transcendentalism to realism. The Transcendentalists were faced with an opposing literary movement. Like the Transcendentalists, the anti-Transcendentalists dealt with the power of nature and of the individual. However, these authors and poets, Nathaniel Hawthorne, Herman Melville, and Edgar Allan Poe, emphasized individuals and nature as mysterious and destructive.
Greetings, Transcendentalists.
I am Nathaniel Hawthorne.
And I am Herman Melville.
We are the anti-Transcendentalists. You are foolish to believe that individuality is wholly beneficial, because, well, it isn't.
The forces of nature are dark and mysterious. Nature will turn against you.
Your transcendental optimism has no place in the reality of humanity's dark deeds.
Some Transcendentalists created communal societies based on transcendental ideals and often socialistic principles. One of these, Brook Farm, was visited by many prominent Transcendentalists.
The self-sufficiency of this community reflects our belief in self-reliance. Here we can live simply and be in touch with nature.
Nature, the final frontier. These are the voyages of Ralph Waldo Emerson and his Transcendentalist friends. Their ongoing mission, to transcend strange new dimensions, to seek out intuitive understandings, to individualistically go where no man has gone before.